Hello everybody, I am Baltmatrix and welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking a look at the Target exclusive buzzworthy Bumblebee set, including Cheetor, Nightbird, and Wheeljack from Transformers Rise of the Beasts. This figure set was purchased at my local Target. It is available online at a couple of different e-retailers and Target.com, though their availability kind of fluctuates. Each one of these figures is a deluxe class figure and each one is a unique mold, and they all have their positives and their negatives, but as a set, I think they all work pretty well. In terms of size, they scale perfectly fine with current deluxe class legacy figures. When I first picked up the set, I thought, oh, these things feel small. Well, they're not small in terms of height, but they are a lot thinner and a lot less wide than most of the current legacy line, except for figures that turn into things like motorcycles, like Road Rocket and RC. We'll take a look at Wheeljack first. The white, the copper, silver, and black all work well. The blue is very nice. Look at the textures going on his chest. We've got the grill texture, and then we've got the lights, and then we've got the bumper. It works incredibly well. And then the head sculpt is Steve Urkel. Yeah, I know. It's stupid, but I don't care. Though the one thing that is weird is the effect that we have going on here is one of him wearing suspenders. That's what this makes me feel like. It's just an odd look because I really think we've got fans of Family Matters who designed this version of Wheeljack. And according to his bio, he is a triple threat. The overall aesthetic of the figure is nice. It's all pretty darn compact and feels good, except for one thing. The chest comes unpegged way too easily on my figure. I'll go to pick it up, move it around, and then the chest will just unpeg and flop about. In order to get it pegged in, you have to push pretty darn hard, but then these chest pieces have a tendency to move on their own, and then the suspenders bit pops out. It is a shame. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is very annoying. Wheeljack comes with this little gun that, to be quite honest, it looks like a paintball gun. That's what it makes me think of. It's just a stupid little paintball gun. You've got the paintball store in the back, and then you've got a compressor down here. It's just really weird, but I swear I've seen this gun before, but I cannot figure out where I saw it. Also, this isn't the gun he uses in the movie, apparently, because that's attached to his hand, or, you know, his hand transforms into the gun, and then it's a blaster of some sort. Gun can be stored in either hand, or then placed on the back for storage, though getting it onto the back requires a bit more force than I care to admit, and then getting it out is a little bit difficult. Posability for this guy is pretty okay. Head is on a ball joint, and it's got a lot of movement there. Shoulders are on butterfly joints and ball joints. The butterfly joints are very, very loose, and the ball joint is very, very tight. Swivel just above the elbow, 90 degrees bend at the elbow, no fist articulation. Legs are on ball joints. Then there's a swivel just underneath that at the thigh. Bend at the knee is 90 degrees for the transformation, and then a ball joint and an ankle hinge in the ankle. And that hinge is for the transformation. You end up with decent posability for the guy, but honestly, I just kind of have him statically standing because I think that's where he looks the best. Now, there's been a lot of consternation about this guy and his head sculpt. I'm fine with it. I really am. I mean, come on, folks. Do you remember Wheeljack from Dark of the Moon, otherwise known as Q? And he got murdered real bad about halfway through to the end of the movie, so I don't know, Wheeljack might not be long for the Rise of the Beasts. Who knows? Transformation for this guy is pretty interesting, actually. To start off with, come to the chest and pull it away from the body, and then that will allow you to just get the chest up over the robot head, like so. Take the pecs and then fold them down. Grab the entire backpack and slide it along this slider, and then you just saw me extend the legs out. This backpack movement is the hardest part of the transformation, because the slider requires, on mine, more force than I care. Let's just say it's hard to move. It requires a lot of force on my figure. If you have this figure and it doesn't require that much force, great. All right, arms drop down and then flip around to drop into the wheel wells for where the rest of the vehicle mode will be. Then the wings will swing down and in, and that, I'll be honest, doesn't feel great. Getting these wings to swing into place does not feel really all that good. It requires a bit of crackling and moving of plastic. Clear plastic, mind you. Though, thankfully, it is pretty thick. It is a little bit thinner on the wings than I would like it, but not much I could do about that. Now, you might have noticed I did goof a little bit. The doors actually peg in to the wheel arches or the fenders right there at the tip of my finger. So I messed that up, and we want to get that pegged into place. The problem with that is I run into an issue with my figure where things don't always stay pegged together in vehicle mode, no matter what I do. And I'm pretty sure that is a me problem and not a figure quality problem, because I'm sure I'm doing something wrong. Now down to the legs, fold these little flaps that are on the back of the legs out, then take the knee and bend the knee down with the legs folded up at the knees. We then grab the feet and bring them forward and point them straight back like that. So there's the foot, and then bring it and flip it up all the way. Then bring the legs together and snap them together at the toes, and then flip them around, and they will fit, and the toes will slide just behind and underneath the canopy like that. Then come to the shins, and they will rotate around 180 degrees and then fold down to form the back doors of the vehicle mode. And like that. And then we're going to lift the arms and bring them up into that open part. But before we do that, whenever I transform it, I end up pushing the little suspender bits up into the back of the vehicle mode. Don't do that, because they will run into the hands. Leave them hanging down on the back axles, and that will give you the necessary clearance needed to get everything pegged up into place, like so. Finally, we will take the little suspender bit and fold it up, and then push it into the wrists, and they will snap into place. And we're done. I love this alt mode. Yes, give me more Volkswagen bus alt modes. Please, Hasbro. This little thing is so cute, and it does move and roll without any issue. I absolutely love it. You've got wonderful detailing from a Volkswagen bus. You've got the upper lights, you've got the side mirrors, you've got the front lights, and then the fog lamps. You've got what is obviously sliding doors here molded in there. TV Pablo is so nice. The only thing I'm not crazy about are these giant weird windows on the back. They should have been molded upside down from the way they are, because that's not what windows look like on a Volkswagen bus. But I haven't seen the bus mode in the movie yet, so those might be air conditioning units? I don't know. Either way, I love the little Volkswagen bus idea. I would love to see this retooled into an Ironhide or even a Ratchet. I think that would be neat, like a G1 version. But anyway, this is just really neat. It's something special, except for the gold-colored or copper-colored paint. I'm really worried that this is going to have GPS syndrome. And for those of you that don't know, GPS is gold plastic syndrome. It is a plastic mix that was done in the 90s of this color, and they just snap and shatter after years. There's a famous video of someone who got a hold of a Beast Wars second Randy, which was 100% GPS, and him just holding it and crushing it in his hands, and it just dissolving. So yeah, a little worried about the longevity on this one. Next up is Nightbird, and of the three, she is my least favorite for reasons I will get into in just a moment. Good 360-degree view. You can see she's got some junk on the back for the kibble, and then she's got a lot of kibble on her thighs. The overall aesthetic isn't awful. The coloring is okay. I would have loved to have seen a different color than this weird copper that she's got, and I'm wondering if that's even going to show up in the movie. Again, the coloring isn't bad. I do love the purple. The shiny Decepticon purple is absolutely beautiful, and that head sculpt is quite good. It is a wonderful evolution of the original Nightbird head sculpt. It makes me wonder if that is going to, the back of her helmet is going to fold down to form a battle mask. That would be interesting. She is an assassin. That makes sense. Unfortunately, with all this kibble, I don't know how you could be very stealthy. The figure comes with this wakizashi, which is a Japanese short sword. It's forms her spoiler in vehicle mode, which is really dumb. And this little attack claw, which, neat. Too bad it just has a tendency to come apart as soon as I pull it out, and then I start manipulating it and it just pops apart. Oh well, not a big deal. The figure itself, posability-wise, is okay, but if you've noticed already, a major flaw I have with the robot mode is the chest will not stay plugged in. I will pick it up and start moving it around, and the chest just comes unpegged. And it's a very, very light peg or set of pegs that are here on the tummy that are holding the roof, or sorry, the hood in place, and it just doesn't work. She's also very top heavy because of this backpack. And then for the rest of the posability, head is on a ball joint in the shoulder, swivel at the upper arm, bend at the elbow, no fist articulation. Torso swivel is present, though all of the kibble gets in the way. Legs can kick forward and back, and then out a little bit again. If you move the kibble around, if you unpeg it and move the kibble around, you can get some more posability. And then knees bend quite a bit, and then there is a bend at the shin, which is also thigh. There is thigh articulation for the transformation. There is a thigh swivel, and the bend in the is about 90 degrees. And then there is a foot ankle rocker for the transformation, and then the toes. She's got pseudo high heels, which is really stupid because that, combined with the top heaviness, make the figure challenging to pose. It's not impossible, just challenging. All right, transformation for this thing. I hate transforming this figure, but we'll get through it. To start off with, grab the chest, flip the chest up over the head, and then flip it all the way around so you can flip the little panel that forms the top of the hood down, bring it down again, and then the arms will fold in to the body, but we're not going to do that yet because we've got to take care of the legs first. So, to start off with, come down to the legs. Up the upper thighs, pull the panels away and unpeg them. Grab the lower leg, spin them 180 degrees at the thigh swivel, and then close or flip up the feet outward like that. And then the legs. The legs will rotate up and then fold at that thigh bend, that thigh articulation, and rotate up and peg into place in the back of the vehicle mode. So there are these little tabs, and I'm going to zoom in here and see if I can get them on camera. You see these little openings right here. When you fold the legs up, these tabs will slot into those openings. So I'll try and show it to you. So move it up and bend the thigh, and then fold it forward. And this is a challenge. I'm not going to lie. It is a challenge to get this transformed correctly. And then we want to get the thigh up there and snap that into place. Zooming in again, you can see that that tab is then pegged into that opening. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but you do it a few times and you get the hang of it. You just kind of have to be patient. And the directions that the figure comes with aren't the best. So that I actually had to look at other reviewers to figure out how to get this transformed correctly because those directions were not clear. But once you get those legs in place and folded up correctly, the rest of the transformation becomes a lot easier. A little messy, but it does get easier, trust me. All right, first thing we're going to do now that we've got the legs done is flip open the backpack, fold it down to form the back of the vehicle mode, and snap everything into place. Now for the arms, fold the shoulders in so that the wheels are, where car wheels should be, and then turn the forearms so that the black parts are pointing towards the roof of the car, and these tiny little tabs that are on the forearms are pointing up. So then are pointing outwards to the outside of the vehicle. So then we'll fold that in and then bring the doors closed, and those tabs on the forearms will peg in to these tab holes, holding everything together. If they don't tab in right away, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. The actual doors will peg into these pegs right above the wheels also. So then that'll hold everything together. And then finally, take our claw, split it apart. Sword will form the spoiler, so you peg the bottom of the claw into the openings or the back of the claw, into the openings like that. And then the halves, the half moons, will peg into the back of the trunk like so. And then we have the world's least accurate Nissan GTR Skyline. I know she's supposed to be a Nissan GTR. This looks like a Pontiac. It doesn't look anything like any Nissan GTR I have ever seen. In fact, it looks like a Pontiac V6 G6? G5? A souped-up Pontiac from the early aughts. It's not an awful alt mode, but it's definitely not movie accurate, and I suspect that's because Nissan didn't want to give them the rights in order to make the toys. So that's probably why. Does it look like a souped-up sports car that would ride around in Tokyo Drift? Yes, it does. Do I like it? No, not really. I don't like the alt mode all that much. I don't like the transformation all that much, and I'm not a fan of the robot mode. If you like all these modes, great. That's absolutely fantastic. But this is my video review, and I'm not a fan of Nightbird. I'm really hoping a Studio Series figure of her comes out at some point and improves the figure and the design. Finally, we come to Cheetor. Of the three, I think Cheetor is the best. I love the coloring. The blue is something that has been missing from the other Voyager class Cheetor that I've already reviewed. Oh, and that head sculpt is so good. I should say head sculpts because we've got the good old-fashioned kitty, and then we've got Cheetor's actual robot head sculpt. It's very, very good. 360-degree view. Everything is good on this figure. Everything is tight. The only issue I have is posing the kitty legs that are hanging off his back in a good way, so they're out of the way fully. But otherwise, it's a solid figure with some really darn good posability. Head is on a ball joint. It can look way up, but can't really look down at all. Shoulders are on ball joints. Then there's a swivel just below that. Bend at the elbow on both of my arms are very tight, and then ball joint for the fists. There is torso articulation, which only goes so far, because if you try to push it any farther, you're just going to break the figure. Ball joint in the hip for forward and back, in and out. Swivel just above the knee. Bend at the knee is about 90 degrees. And then there is ankle articulation forward and back for the transformation, and then side to side, though it doesn't do 90 degrees. So of the three, I think Cheetor is the most posable. Now, in terms of accessories, he comes with a tail whip sword thing with its own sheath. Yeah, the tail whip sword thing it's fine. I think it's I don't know which way is the right way to hold it, because if he's holding it this way, it looks hollow. If he's holding it that way, it still doesn't look right. And then a gut gun, which, yay, finally, a tummy gun, which I appreciate. Now, for the transformation, you fold the tummy gun up like that, and then that pegs into the cavity that is opened up when you move the beast head out of the way. And speaking of that beast head, oh, it's so nicely detailed, and it opens, its mouth opens, which is nice, and it's got nice beady yellow eyes, and then a big old blue maximal symbol on the top of his head. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Cheetor's transformation is kind of a classic Cheetor in a way, so we're going to do some messing with the torso and then situate the legs, but the legs are really interesting this time. So, transformation. Head, turn it around 180 degrees, and then fold it back like that. Then grab the cheetah head, and the first time I did this, it was so hard to get the cheetah head out. But now it's easier. It's still difficult, but it's nowhere near as difficult as it was. So you grab the head, fold it down, and then pull the entire gut away, and then take the robot head and have the cheetah head slip over the horns like that. And then we take the arms and literally just fold them in and turn the arms so that the pegs on the bottom of the forearms will peg into the skirt on the robot mode. Now that we have the arms folded up, this little area that was the abdomen of the robot mode, you can see there's a double hinge in there. So you actually want to hinge that down and then get the shoulders inside of it, and that will fold up and peg into place, filling in the area behind the cheetah neck. And every time I transform that section, I end up unpegging the arms from the crotch area. And then fold the cheetah front legs down like that. Now, coming down to the robot legs. These are interesting. Unpeg the ankles and then fold the legs down. Push the feet, the cheetah feet down, and then what I like to do is take the robot foot and turn it to the side, and then fold it in, and then straighten the foot out, and then that will allow you to collapse it back down. And that's how you get clearance. So push the shin up and the outside of the leg in, fold the toe in, flip it around, and then fold it straight, and that'll give us the ability to close it up like that. And then turn the legs and fold them down into place to form the cheetah legs. And again, come down and fix the frickin' forearms. And I forgot one clear important thing. I forgot to peg the gut gun in. So that gun slides up in here and pegs into place like that. And then we take the tail and peg that in, and we have got a kitty. I like this cheetah mode quite a bit. I think it works well, and it just feels pretty darn good in the hand. Now, I realize I don't have it quite transformed correctly, so what you're supposed to do is once you've got the tail in, you could take what were the robot thighs and peg them into that little peg hole or peg right there, and then the knee will go right into the tail weapon. So let me just finish that like that, and then we are done. And yeah, the cheetah mode works well, and it feels like a robotic cheetah. The only thing I wish I could do better or do differently is somehow hide these wrists or these fists. I would have loved, as I said, for them to fold up into the forearm or hide them a little better. Oh well. Now, how does it compare to a Cheetor that we've already gotten? Quite well, honestly. Quite well. These two feel like completely different figures, and I do mean completely different. Yes, the new ROTB Cheetah is just a smidge shorter than the previous Cheetah, but both of them pull off the functionality really well. It could be argued that the original Cheetah that we got a year or so ago, or 2 years ago at this point, I don't remember, back in Kingdom, pulls off a Earth mode Cheetah better than the Cybertronian Cheetah, but I think both work very well for what they're going for. So should you buy this set? Yeah, I think so. Nightbird is obviously my least favorite figure of the set, but I love Wheeljack and Cheetor. I would be more positive on Nightbird if a couple of design decisions were a little bit different. I don't think it's an awful figure, but it's definitely not my favorite, with Cheetor and Wheeljack just being fun. Yeah, Wheeljack has its own problems, and Cheetor isn't flawless either, but I think as a set, they're definitely worth owning, especially if you can find it. I have seen this once at Target. Once, and that's when I bought this set. So folks, let me know what you think of the set down in the comments. Have you seen it in your Target? Are you thinking of picking it up? And if you see it, are you going to get it? Or are you just going to keep on walking? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. I have been Baltmatrix. Be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And if you're on Twitter, follow me over there at Baltmatrix. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you next time.